Okay, good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. All right, let's go ahead and get started here with 2 Kings part 4. We are speaking about Elisha. We are speaking about the king of Israel. We are speaking about their opposition, just as we prefaced this video with the reading from the Quran. We talked about war and opposition. When is Israel not in war? That is a good question. When will they have some peace? Of course, we do not cover every little thing in the Bible. We do not cover every time period. As we discussed, it's very much just the main events, right? And apparently, I would say wars are often recorded in history as main events. So that's why it seems to be quite a lot. But let's go ahead and talk about Elisha. We're going to talk about the king of Aram. And they do something so different. Elisha and the people of Israel do something so different that we will soon learn when it comes to war. Pretty incredible, this part here, of course, with the help of the Lord. As we know, he changes your view quite literally. So let's go ahead and begin with a quote. It says, "Let beam upon my inward view those eyes of deep, soft, lucent hue, eyes too expressive to be blue, and too lovely to be gray." This is from Faded Leaves, part 4 on the Rhine. Great. So this is a poem, portion of a poem about eyes. What are we thinking about eyes? It actually fits more than perfect with what we'll read about. So without giving too much, we're going to go ahead and start. It says here, chapter 6, "The company of the prophets said to Elisha, 'Look, the place where we meet with you is too small for us. Let us go to the Jordan where each of us can get us to meet.' He said, 'Go.' Then one of them said, 'Won't you please come with your servants?' 'I will,' said Elisha. And he went with them. They went down to the Jordan and began to cut down trees." So this moment here, I was thinking, Elisha is very compliant. He's very calm, I would say. He's very calm. He listens to the people that are in his group around him. He's calm, he's compliant is a great word to describe him. He's not argumentative. He lets others make decisions and take the lead. He's not so much of a dictator or being power hungry, so much like that type of leader. He's not that type. He's quite the opposite. So I just noticed this as I read this, he's like taking up their decisions and saying, "Yes, of course, let's do that. I will go. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that." So that was kind of cool. Anyways, as one of them was cutting down a tree, the iron axehead fell into the water. He said, "Oh no, my lord," he cried, "it was borrowed." So somebody had dropped their axe in the water. The man of God asked, "Where did it fall?" When he showed him the place, Elisha cut a stick and threw it in there, and he made the iron float. "Lift it out," he said. The man reached out his hand and took it. Alright, so this is a nice part. Like I said, Elisha is calm, cool, and collected. He does not panic. He always knows exactly what to do, right? He's just so quick in his decisions that he spreads an air of coolness, calmness, right? There's no stress with him. There's no worry. There's no panic. Okay, he's just that type of individual, right? And of course, with this, he can perform miracles with the help of the Lord, of course. But the way that he does them, it's just so quick and connected, always knowing exactly what to do. It says here, we're going to just switch tabs a little, not switch tabs, but switch topics a little bit. It says, now the king of Aram was at war with Israel. Surprise, surprise. After conferring with his officers, he said, I will set up my camp in such and such place. So this is interesting here. We talked a little bit about Elisha's spirit and how he's almost a little bit, how do I say this? I don't want to use the word omnipotent, but maybe, right? He's a little bit omnipotent in the sense that he can be in two places at once with his spirit. We talked about that, how he has that gift. He can be at two places at once. So he knew where the king of Aram was going to set up camp. And some word got to the king of Aram saying, Elisha knows where we're trying to set up, right? It's supposed to be a secret place. They were supposed to be, encamped outside of Israel so, they could siege the area and such, right? But Elijah just somehow knew, word got to the king, and he was so taken aback. He's like, how would he know that? They switched up their plan, and then they ended up encamping, I guess, where they were going in the first place. Either way. Anyways, it was just a weird moment. You can read a little bit more about it in chapter 6 if you'd like. But anyways, when the servant of the man of God got up and went out early next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. Oh no, my lord, what shall we do? The servant asked. He says, do not be afraid, the prophet answered. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. All right. So the king of Aram, right, in his aggression, right, he decides to just go and try to besiege Israel right away. Don't step on my computer. He goes and tries to besiege Israel right away. And Elijah, again, calm, cool, and collected. He says, do not be afraid. Where have we heard that before, right? Jesus said that. Do not be afraid, or don't be afraid. And he actually adds this little excerpt, like what we were discussing. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And Aram was a huge army. Okay, Aram had a huge army. So people, when he said that, people were kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, we're just a few individuals, especially in the prophets group. They didn't have an army. It was just them, the prophets and such. So they were a little bit confused. But again, Elijah can see what others do not see. He has the gift of sight. He has the gift of miracles. You know what I'm trying to say, right? He's different. He's not like a normal human whatsoever. So it says here, and Elijah prayed, open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see. Then the Lord opened his servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. So this is what Elijah, either he sees or he knows in his heart, in his spirit. He must have the ability to go ahead and see through the veil. It's not talked about much, but it is something that is mentioned here. He must have experienced this more times than it is recorded. Anyways, how wonderful and beautiful is that? And this is, mind you, this is something that is in the natural world. We just do not have the ability to observe and to see this. But when you have protection, it's something of this nature, right? You have, angels protecting you. You have, right, hills full of horses and chariots of fire. This actually is specific to Elijah, these chariots of fire, because as we remember, Elijah, that was how he was taken up into the spiritual realm with the chariot of fire. So Elisha, given double portion of Elijah's spirit, he has a bunch of horses and chariots of fire all around him. Okay, as the enemy came toward him, Elisha prayed to the Lord, strike this army with blindness. So he struck them with blindness, and as Elijah asked. So this is a grand scale miracle. This is a multi-miracle. Most big miracles are multi-miracles, but to strike a whole army blind, when have you heard that? I have not heard that before, okay? That is something incredible. Um, to strike a whole army blind. Now you can see why we were talking about the eyes in the quote, right? Just, it had to coincide just a little bit. And as they were wondering where their sight had gone, Elisha had actually led the army into Israel, and he's like, oh, I know where you need to go. I mean, you're trying to besiege Israel. Let me just go ahead and guide you right into the city gates. So the prophets have all these blind military men of Aram. They're being guided in the gates. The king sees them. When the king of Israel saw them, he asked Elisha, shall I kill them, my father? Shall I kill them? So the king of Israel is eager, of course, right? This is Jerome. This is Jerome. He's so eager. And something that's interesting in this line too, he's calling Elisha his father. Shall I kill them, my father? Shall I kill them? I thought that was interesting. He's holding a bit of respect for Elisha, right? We respect our father, especially if it's somebody who's not actually our father, and we're calling him father. Who else do we call father, right? Priests, members of the clergy, our actual fathers, our Father up in heaven, right? So he has this respect for Elisha. That came out of nowhere, seemingly, but at this point, the king is in awe of everything that Elisha has been doing. Elisha has been, assisting him to quite a degree in military matters, as we had learned. So they built up this trust, right? And it seems like this could be the turning point where Israel goes back to God. If they are not already shifting and shifted, this could be the turning point of reunion back with the Lord for Israel. I mean, the Lord is already helping them, right? He's already helping them because of Elisha, and because Elisha is there helping them. So Elisha, in his mercy, says, do not kill them, he answered. Will you kill those you have captured with your own sword or bow? Set food and water before them so they may eat and drink, then go back to their master. So he prepared a great feast for them. After they had finished eating and drinking, he sent them away, and they returned to their master. So the bands from Aram stopped raiding Israel's territory. Okay, so this is a moment, right? This is a moment of surprise. This is a moment we don't read about really anywhere else. Feeding your enemies. This is a great example of taking care of your enemies, right? Set food and drink before them and send them on their way. So this is a great example with this. Again, just another great example too of mercy and compassion, understanding. And because of Elisha's kindness and his recommendation not to put them to death, they actually stopped raiding Israel. So there we go. We asked, where is the peace? This is a moment of peace. So this is great. This is a very great example of peaceful protest. And this is actually where I would say peaceful protest comes from, right? Treat your enemies with kindness, right? It's like not a silent war, but then just a non-violent war, right? We talk about matters of nonviolence and how they really are very effective ways to get your message across and to uphold a cause. This is a fantastic example of that. Somebody's coming at you, kill them with kindness. I know that's another catchphrase nowadays. Kill them with kindness, right? So this is exactly what that is. Yeah, just a great moment. And now you can see how, of course, the eyes relate. These people were blind. And Elisha, too, he sees with his eyes a different type of manner. When we first discussed this quote, we were actually reading about Jesus, and we confirmed, or we referred this quote to the eyes of Jesus, right? Lucent, soft, too expressive, right, and lovely. And those eyes can beam, they can see through you. It says, let them beam upon my inward view. They can see inside your heart. And really, That's what that is. Let beam upon my inward view. See my heart. Understand the internal of myself with those eyes. So that's what Elijah has. He sees into behind the veil, right? Behind the veil. Yeah, incredible miracle. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and end this here. I hope you guys have a good day and rest of your week. We're almost done. It's Thursday. Hallelujah. Yeah. All right. God bless you guys. Peace out. Bye.